I'm going to start waiting 10 seconds before I start the show. I think that's 5. Because sometimes people join. Like there's already somebody here. And I don't want to make them miss it. I want to give people the chance. Yeah. Okay. So, here we go. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Today is Monday, May 13th, 2019. My name's Jeremy. That's the top of my head. And this is my first cup of coffee. I really like this mug. My mom got me this mug for Christmas. It's great. It's a great mug. Can you see my mug? I think it's handmade. Somebody scratched something in the bottom. So that's pretty cool. I hope everybody's doing well. Hope you had a great weekend. What did I do this weekend? Well, yesterday was Mother's Day. So, hung out with the family, had some food. Mom and Dad had some car trouble, so I drove them home. Went to the gym. Did some work. Recorded the first 2 sub-chapters of the book that I'm working on. It felt awesome to actually start working on that. I'm realizing I have to be in the right headspace to record that. But yeah, I should be able to do a bit every day. And despite the fact that it is 35 pages, I bet I could finish it by the end of June. I bet I could finish it faster than that. We'll see. Saturday, what was Saturday? Both days I slept in without an alarm. I don't know about you. I don't know how you wake up on the weekends, but typically I'm away for events. So the idea that I had no alarm 2 days in a row was utterly amazing. I slept great. I feel great. And I don't know the next time I have a weekend like that. Saturday, gym, dealt with some stuff around the house that needed to be dealt with. Like a kitchen drain that was being a pain. Rhyming unintentional. But I've dealt with that. That's fine now. Let's see. Last night I watched Highwaymen on Netflix with Kevin Costner and Woody Harrelson, which if you have not seen it, it's a pretty good movie. It's about Bonnie and Clyde, but Bonnie and Clyde are kind of secondary to the story. It's about those 2 guys. 2 great actors, 2 of my favorites. What else? What was Friday? Friday was supposed to be Kempo, but I got wrapped up in a meeting that went long, and I missed it, so that was a bummer. But other than that, meeting was great. Everything else was great. Yeah, it was a good weekend. Nice and quiet, but got things done and just ready for the week. So, I got some questions. Got some questions that came in. Let's take a look at them. All right. First question is an interesting question that I've read a couple different ways. At what point did you realize that you belonged in the martial arts? So I could take the easy way out and say, it wasn't my choice. I was 4 years old. My mother said, you should do this. And I went, okay, sounds fun. And I never stopped. But that's the easy way out. You can do something without feeling that you belong in it. There are plenty of people who do that all the time. People who work certain jobs that they don't belong working that job. They don't belong at that company. Or at least they don't feel they do. I think I first felt like I belonged in martial arts somewhere around 11, 12, 13, somewhere in that range. Because I realized that everybody else had something that they were passionate about, their thing. I realized that martial arts was my thing. I was good in school, but I wasn't good at team sports. I didn't do well interacting with other people too much. Martial arts was my thing. And I still believe that. I believe that even strongly, even more strongly now than I did back then. I'm doing my Jedi robe thing this morning. That's intentional. What is the hardest weapon to defend against? I think it depends on what context. So if we're talking within training, assuming firearms are off the table, assuming thrown weapons are off the table, then I don't know. I haven't done a lot of defense against weapons without weapons, unarmed weapons defense. I know dealing with a knife is a pain because it's very sharp, and I've done some drilling with some people who we don't use live blades, but either will chalk up the blade or something like that. And you realize that you would have been stabbed 100 times. I'm going to say probably a sword, but if not a sword, it really could be any long-range weapon, because of course the strategy if you're unarmed is to close the distance if you can't run away. And the longer the range of the weapon, the more difficult it is to close that distance. Something like a bow would be difficult, other than you're probably not going to die if you get hit with it once on your way in. A sword? Good. If we take this out to a non-controlled environment, something on the street, of course a gun is first and foremost, but if we take firearms out, what are you going to deal with on the street other than a firearm or a knife? Maybe you'll find somebody walking around carrying a sword. That's an inside joke that I'm not going to get into. If Scott's here, he's laughing. What does that read again? I think that's the best I can answer that, because there's so many ways contextually this question could apply. But it's most likely first firearm, second sword. What is one thing you wish more martial artists did to make the world a better place? I wish they would recognize that infighting within the martial arts not only harms their lives and the lives of other martial artists, but it reduces the chance that other people, non-martial arts practitioners, will consider training. Here's what I mean. If you're someone who doesn't do martial arts and you hear and you're able to understand the humor of the cliche joke, how many martial artists does it take to screw in a light bulb? 100. 1 to do it, and 99 to say, that's not how my instructor would do it. Right? Like, we've got, the notion of that has become a cliche. And so quite often, and I see this on Facebook, people will ask, I want to start martial arts. Where do I start? People will jump in and say, you should do BJJ. You should really do Kempo. You should do Taekwondo. How about you find out if there's a good school of any martial art near them? A good instructor of any art is better than a bad instructor of a certain art. I don't care what you're doing. If you're training, you're training. And so people get so wrapped up in their own story that they forget to realize that other people's stories could be equally valid. And that's not just in martial arts. This is a martial arts show, and that was a martial art question. So I wish people would just take a step back from that. You know? Is there another answer to that question? Is there anything else I would want people to realize that would make martial arts a better place? That it's not about fighting. That fighting is a part of it, but it's not the focus. I mean, if that's the focus of your school, that's fine. But that's not what martial arts is intended to be. And if you want proof of that, many of the best fighters in the world are jerks. You can't say that they're successful martial artists if they're not people you want to let in your home. I think that might actually be a good yardstick, a good line in the sand. Can someone be a great martial artist and you not want to invite them into your home? Well, sure, because people have different personalities, and there are people out there that I've met that are great martial artists, and I just don't get along with them. Not because there's anything wrong with them or with me. So, no, I take that back. How are you making the world a better place? What are you going to do today that makes the world better? What am I going to do? Well, I've been interviewed this morning for Martial Arts Radio. My CrossFit coaching got moved around this week because on Wednesday I'll be attending a memorial service, and I'm coaching this evening instead. So, yeah, and then in between, it's just hammer down, a lot of email, a lot of work. Probably go to the bank. So, yeah. As you go through your day, I want you to think about how you're improving the world. It doesn't have to be big. I think quite often with media, we get bombarded with these people who are doing big things. And we seem to feel like if we're not doing big things, we're not doing anything. Well, that's not true. You can do big things that impact the life of one person, or even just make one person's day better. It's worthwhile. Just think about what it's like on the other side of that. When someone goes out of their way to make your day better. Why wouldn't we put good out into the world? Why wouldn't we use our understanding and our connections and our influence to improve the lives of others? I have this dream that, years from now, martial artists will be looked at as the best people in the world, people that others aspire to be. How do I rearrange my life? How do I adjust my schedule so I can do martial arts, so I can train? That's what I hope. That's what I'm looking forward to. I hope you have a great day. Don't forget, we do this show every weekday morning, 6:30 a.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube, but you can catch it later at firstcupwithjeremy.com or in any podcast feed that you can probably find. If you want to ask a question, and I hope you do, the best place to leave it is below in the comment section. Don't forget, turn on, when you subscribe to YouTube, don't forget to turn on notifications so you can get the little dingy bell that says we're doing this thing. If you want to ask a question, but you don't watch live, if you don't use YouTube, you can email me, jeremy@whistlekick.com. And don't forget, we have an episode of Martial Arts Radio. It came out today, episode 396, closing on 400, with Professor Cindy Hales, a BJJ practitioner from the Upper Midwest, no, the Upper West, the Pacific Northwest. There we go. That was a great episode. A lot of fun. Different, very different story. And you can find that here on YouTube or at whistlekickmartialartsradio.com. I hope you have a wonderful day. I will see you back here tomorrow. Take care.